The second chakra, Svadhisthana. Facts about the second chakra. It is connected to the elements water. It's fluid, formless, and induces change. In our bodies, it is seen in our emotions and desires, our wants and needs, our feelings and sensations. Svadhisthana means one's own place. The motivating principle of the chakra is the pleasure which comes to us through our senses. We learn to dissolve our boundaries and enter into intimacy with others. Through desire, emotion, pleasure, and sensation, we enter the complex realm of sexuality. If we have too much energy moving into our sacral area, this is often called the sacral chakra, the second chakra, it can show in a certain number of ways. We might have sexual addictions, be obsessive about our attachments, addiction to stimulation, excessive mood swings, excessively sensitive, poor boundaries, invasion of others, emotional dependency, or instability. If we have too little energy moving into our second chakra, we are deficient. And we could show this by having rigidity in our own body, or in our beliefs, or in our behaviors. We might have emotional numbness or insensitivity, a fear of change, a lack of desire, passion, or excitement. We might avoid pleasure, have a fear of sexuality, poor social skills, excessive boundaries, or boredom. The whole purpose of this workshop is to become balanced. So, in order to be balanced in our second chakra, we'll do certain movements and things together and come into balance. And then hopefully we will find that we are graceful in our movements. We'll have the ability to embrace change. We'll have emotional intelligence, nurturance of self and others, healthy boundaries, the ability to enjoy pleasure, sexual satisfaction, and passion. So how do we deepen our connection to the second chakra? The second chakra is in the location of the sacral area, which is the hips, the low back, the abdomen, and the genitals. We've moved from the grounding chakra into our water chakra, the element of water. So we have to find some fluidity. And if we don't have this fluidity, we'll talk a little more about that in a moment, we can be affected physically in some of the following ways. We might have low back pain, urinary tract infections, bladder troubles, menstrual difficulties, or maybe reproductive issues. So all of these symptoms are connected to this particular area of the body. So when we are deficient, or if we have too much energy in our second chakra, we might experience some of these physical issues. So we want to come into balance and find this connection to our second chakra. So here's some tips, some pointers that you should try to do as you are working to balance the chakra. We want to gain flexibility. So when our emotions and our body is tight and we're not fluid, then we're not embracing this water element, Svadhisthana. So we have to gain flexibility. So yoga is perfect. Next, you will be taking the yoga class with me, or just adding more stretching into your life. We want to gain flexibility and grace by taking a dance class. You'll see that one of our exercises in the second chakra section here is a dance class. Or just get your body moving. Maybe you like to hike or go biking or running. We want to have flexibility and grace. We can tune into our sensuousness by noticing the world through the five senses. So we take in what we see. We look for colors and shapes. We touch things. We touch different textures. Maybe it's touching our lover on the skin. Maybe it's tasting and feeling that tangible taste in our mouth and the way our tongue moves. What we hear, a lot of times music can get us moving, the rhythm of the music. And what we smell. Some essential oils can be connected to opening up this sacral area of our body as well. We can tune into our emotions by learning to feel deeply, express emotions appropriately, contain emotions appropriately, and find emotional satisfaction with your life. So, everything in balance, right? Of course, we need to express our emotions, but not when they trample other people's emotions. So, that's when we would express them and then also know how to contain them appropriately. But to find emotional satisfaction, I think that's huge. Be satisfied with the way that you're feeling and understand why you're feeling a certain way. You can tune into your sexual life by making room for pleasure. Find a connection with your own needs. Satisfy another person sexually. So instead of only taking care of yourself, satisfy someone else. Experience the sacred in your sexuality. For me, that would be finding the sacred feminine and understanding what that means. Find appropriate boundaries with others, how you can relate to someone else appropriately. Your basic right with the second chakra is the right to feel. Culturally, sometimes there's attitudes that keep us out of touch with ourselves and others and the emotions of our experiences. So we ask ourselves, what messages did I receive as a child about emotions? A boy, for instance, might be told that it's not cool to cry. A girl may be told that they can cry, but don't cry so much. Don't get all emotional. Don't get all menstrual or whatever. Those are some cultural norms that aren't helpful. Ask yourself, how are my emotions responded to? Are my emotions brushed aside or are they embraced? Do people around me try to understand me? Do you value the messages in your own feelings? Are you listening to what your feelings are telling you? Or are you always just saying, oh, it's not as big of a deal as I'm making it? What beliefs do you carry about your emotions? That can be anything, a value system, any kind of beliefs that you've been raised with about your own emotions. So finally, we want to heal and balance our second chakra. That's the whole purpose of this workshop. So ideas. How about working with the element? Just drink more water. Be more in touch with the water element and how it feels inside your own body. Basic fluidity. Try not to get stuck. Ask yourself, what moves you? What are you passionate about? How much do you move physically in a day? Where do you resist change in your life? And try to connect with your sexuality. Take time to make your sexuality a sacred experience. Maybe it's going with your partner on a planned adventure, just the two of you together. It's planned so that you can have a deep connection emotionally, physically, and it becomes sacred instead of just a checklist of something to do. So I hope you can find healing and balance. Let's continue on together and we'll come into balance together.